Caitlyn. He's played Lucian in the last game as well, but we're into Champion Select, so all the stuff that we've been theorizing about, we're going to find out how right or wrong we were. And the first ban out here, Dr. Mundo, out of that top lane game. Obviously with Shyvana's changes, Mundo very big contested point. They're going really quickly here. Elise Lee Sin as well banned for the Wolves, as is Orianna. Other side, Kayle and Cassidy.
So these are some very smart picks. Alliance have locked in the Vice, same champion that was actually run by Alliance last week. But the thing that Copenhagen Wolves are not going to have to respond this time around is the intervention from Kayle, and if they want to go for Lulu. But the thing is, Annie's still available, Leona's still available. There's a lot of priority picks, and everything we've already highlighted, the Lucian's been locked in. We can assume Tabzz is going to go standard on Caitlyn, unless he's going to pull out, you know, a Jinx. But I think it's going to be this Caitlyn Thresh lane.
Yeah, Caitlyn Thresh is a big pick as well, not only because Tabzz and Nyph want that lane, and Nyph has played a lot of Thresh as well, but also the fact that Unlimited, when that Thresh has been there, he's not really gone that way. He's played a couple of games with Lulu, mixing in there with Annie, of course. Did play Karma as well in their game yesterday against Millennium, but I think we're going to see the likes of Lulu or Annie coming out here for Unlimited now.
I think so too. I think that's definitely the way that, you know, Copenhagen Wolves would trend. And interestingly enough, Amazing sitting with Ghost Smite, he might be going Olaf in the jungle. He might be playing something like that to respond. And Jinx, Leona, so they have changed. This is a big talking point. Alliance have used the full discussion to go through this decision making, and with Thresh being available, Copenhagen Wolves may actually steal that one away from them. But what we already seen from Alliance, that is so much hard CC. The Vi Leona combo makes it very difficult to pick sort of mobile champions or anybody that can get away, because they will get locked down if all that CC lands. And of course, we've seen how strong Jinx is. The most successful ADC last week, 7 wins, 2 losses.
That's going to be scary if Tabzz is on form, which yesterday would say maybe he is as well. It'll be interesting to see whether Gragas actually gets picked up at this point, with the fact that the Copenhagen Wolves have that final pick. They may want to take that away from Froggen, who did play a lot of Gragas last week.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Froggen's Gragas last week wasn't particularly on point, but we could theorize that it was the stress, the pressure that got to him. Taking it away, it's also a fairly safe lane. It's quite difficult to gank with his body slam. He can move himself away. He's got good wave clear. He's got pretty good sustain as well. But I am a little concerned about the ganks, because whoever Froggen's going to play now in the mid lane, when comboed with a Vi, Assault and Battery, that is going to do a lot of damage and could shut him down.
The Olaf was in there as well, a pickup which we've already seen earlier on in the season. They played it against Gambit, ended up with 0-3-4. Not the best game overall for the Copenhagen Wolves, so hard to get that read on how Amazing did on that one. On the other side, we've already seen Renekton's gone. Mundo's out there. Shyvana's had the changes. And it's the Troll that's kind of come to the forefront. A lot of people saying he's a very strong pick right now against these against these bully kind of champions, which Renekton certainly is. Yeah,
he gets a lot of statistics from them. You know, he can reduce attack damage with his Charm, he can steal armor and magic resist with his ultimate, and a great interaction that you have with something like a Spirit Visage, which increases your healing. That Subjugate ultimate from Trundle steals a massive amount of HP and continues to drain it. When comboed with Spirit Visage, you regenerate an immense amount of HP during the course of a team fight. So I actually like what I'm seeing from Alliance. They've got hard CC for engage, for disengage. They can play on the front foot aggressively. They can play defensively. But with the LeBlanc being locked in, a lot is going to hinge on Froggen's ability to kill people. We've seen LeBlanc's not as impressive during week 1.
Yeah, you've got to blow someone up, otherwise you're not really pulling off what you need to do. We'll see how that one all works out for them. On the other side here, the Copenhagen Wolves, what are they going to lock in on top of the Lucian? Obviously looking for a support at this point. As I said before, Annie, Lulu, probably where the direction is going to go. Seems like he might be going for Annie.
I wouldn't even be surprised if they did swap to a Lulu, and my reasoning for that, the single target damage from a LeBlanc plus single target of Vi could be countered that route. However, with Annie being the final lock-in, this is now just aggression for aggression. If a Solar Flare doesn't catch somebody, Annie's going to throw Tabzz down and hope that Renekton and Olaf can just barrel roll themselves forward and rush down the team. There's a lot of similarities between these teams. They want to 5v5, they want to fight. And the difference maker is going to be Gragas' barrel spreading up Alliance or Froggen popping someone early.
We saw Alex Ich playing that LeBlanc yesterday in their win against SK Gaming, which took 42 minutes and 9 seconds actually in the end. I actually have that number in my head because of some little rumors floating around on the internet as to when Gambit wanted to finish that game. But the way that Alex played that, LeBlanc, is I'm guessing what we're going to see exactly from Froggen here. Waiting, setting traps, and trying to burst someone down who's just not ready for it.
Yeah, and the only targets he's really going to be able to do in the mid-game will be the Lucian and the Annie. You know, eventually Gragas is going to scale up, most likely going to grab himself an Athene's Unholy Grail, get some MR on there, maybe work himself towards the Zhonya's Hourglass. And once that's collected, it's more difficult to burst him down. So we'll see how well Froggen can flank and can roam, because I've never really thought of Froggen as a strong roamer. He can do it. He's always roamed after 10, 12, 15 minutes, but it's not really his forte. So we'll see if he can adapt to this playstyle of LeBlanc.
Well, as we load into the game, let's see how you guys called this game at home. And I'll tell you, it's a very close one. I was interested to see how this one went because I wasn't quite so sure how it was going to go. It doesn't get much closer than this. 54% in favor of the Copenhagen Wolves.
This is purely because of the performance from Alliance. And you know, we were talking about this during rehearsals, how the percentage could sway. And I said, I'm actually not surprised because Copenhagen Wolves has, in general, look to be the stronger team. Alliance has too many weaknesses that they need to fix right now.
Yeah, and I wonder if it was just a one-off game win there for Alliance, or whether they really, back on the horse, so to say, and are going to be able to ride off into more victories. We'll have to see about that one because we are going to get into game here. It is the Copenhagen Wolves taking on Alliance. We'll see if Alliance can string 2 wins back-to-back. A feat which you only guessed when that would happen if you looked at the results last week. Not having the best of starts, but in this one, it's going to be a very interesting one because the Wolves, despite not having the best record, have had some great performances.
The Copenhagen Wolves have pushed a lot of teams. They haven't necessarily been completely shut out like some of the games that we have been seeing. And I think as a relatively young team, when you consider they had to replace their jungler and their AD carry less than 2.5, 3 months ago, they've still got a lot to learn. And I think that with YoungBuck at the helm, they've got a strong leader. They have a clear, concise goal of what they want to do. And it's just going to come down to executing those plans and abilities in game.
Well, you may have noticed we do have a slight pause here at the start. Amazing. Just having a couple of issues as to restart his client, and we'll be back into the game here in just a second. So that gives us some time to touch on changes maybe in these 2v1 lanes. Are they going to want to have the Trundle in the lane against that bully in the early game, Renekton? Do they want to risk the 2v1s? We saw yesterday that actually the towers were falling earlier despite the fact that the top and middle turrets had actually got stronger.
Yeah, and that's also a testament to the fact that the bottom tower is now weaker with the new changes. So the towers going down almost makes that like 3v2 and 2v2. If you recall at the wrong time in the duo lane, you can get pushed backwards. But to answer the question, if they want to go for the 2v1 lane swap, I feel like both of these lanes want to fight. Jinx, Leona can do well against the Lucian Annie if they can get some levels quickly. So I don't think we'll be seeing a lane swap. But even if they do, Trundle can do well. He's got passive, gets a lot of HP back.
And a race to level 2 maybe if those duos do end up facing off against each other. We'll have to see about that one because we are back in game now. We'll see exactly how Alliance and the Copenhagen Wolves kick this one off. And until now, it's not too dissimilar to what we've been seeing pretty much every game outside of maybe 2 or 3 so far, that the line defense is set up on both sides of the map until those trinkets start to work in and they can put the wards down. Actually,
the only team that we've been seeing do consistent invades and roams is Millennium. They did it in both their games yesterday. They group up as a 5 and move around the map. And I think the defensive start is just, we're still early in the season. Teams are still trying to find their feet. Alliance, they need to pull themselves back, and Copenhagen Wolves want to prove they can make things happen. They don't want to give away kills early. But I think we have to keep our eyes on Wickd. He's playing Trundle. It's a champion that we've seen Soaz do well with. Cloud9's EU Challenger team use him very effectively. And Wickd, a player that we talk about as champion pool, we'll see how well he can handle a troll.
Yeah, that's a very good point, actually. We always say that Wickd not got the deepest of champion pools, and it can sometimes struggle on that front. We see there the initial wards going down, actually the first clear of the game, as well as Shook just taking that one out. Wickd actually stood right on top of another enemy ward right now, but we can see that the Wolves gathering now around their red just to make sure that that's safe.
Yeah, a very slow start from both of these teams. Again, it's not worth the risk of invading, but I do want to touch on the fact that both Nyph and Unlimited have gone with Doran shields once again. We're seeing this trend now with, I think actually every single game yesterday, the support's going with a Doran's item first because they're anticipating the 2v2, because of the 4.1 tower changes, maybe going for those fights. And as I'm talking about that, we actually see Forgiven and Unlimited. They're forcing themselves into the lane to try shut down Froggen, prevent him getting farm and levels early.
Yeah, and now we see Froggen just trying to give a bit of that aggro back on towards Unlimited. Annie, as we know, has a ridiculously long range with those auto attacks, and shouldn't be too hard to keep Froggen out of the way there, but also we'll need to be careful because Froggen can burst quite heavily even at lower levels.
And this is incredibly smart from Copenhagen Wolves because Gragas should be able to 1v2 fairly safely. He's got more effective wave clear and actual built-in sustain. So if he does take poke from, Tabzz' Jinx, you're not going to see Nyph tower diving. A melee in a 2v1 situation cannot really push the tower super quickly. So I think this is intelligent decision making. And if you still look at it, Tabzz and Nyph, they're not hard pushing that bottom lane. They're not trying to shove the wave up to the tower. Tabzz is happy to last hits, and that's buying cowTard all the time he needs to get some XP in the jungle.
Nyph having the most relaxed start to a game that he's had for a very long time, I think, in this one. cowTard, as you said, just helping out Amazing there in the jungle. He just finishes off the white. Double buffs are on him right now, and Amazing looking like he's going to be spending quite a lot of time in the farming role from this one. Shook, though, has already made his way down towards this bottom lane, and look at that, both junglers there. This could be very interesting if Shook decides to go in, and I think the fact that they've just started pushing that lane may have alerted them to the fact that Shook may be on his way. Yeah,
a nice ward there from Amazing, immediately gives it up. Amazing, I think, reading Shook's gameplay, anticipating that this could be a threat. You're not going to see a 2v1 tower dive, but if you've got Vi in there as well, definitely going to work out. And Amazing, going to get himself some experience. Probably actually pull quite nicely ahead of Shook with this little assistance. But look how far behind cowTard is right now. He's level 2 to the level 4 Froggen. Froggen's leeching a lot more experience from his mid lane.
Yeah, doing well to get in range there. And we can see that Unlimited continue to harass him, and that's half of his health gone with just that single combo coming out of Unlimited. Froggen using the change there at maximum range just to pick up whatever CS he can at this point. This lane as well, YoungBuck versus Wickd. Wickd actually got the better of YoungBuck here in terms of levels. 2 CS he's actually got over him in terms of the numbers right now. But we heard, I think it was Overpower yesterday, it said, we like the Trundle pick, but not against Renekton. Yeah,
in this particular setup, it's going to be interesting to see how they affect the team fights. Because I think laning is going to be a farm fest. And we'll get to that in a second as Unlimited. He's coming down for an early gank on Nyph and Tabzz.
Yeah, actually going to get pushed onto here by Nyph. And that is a great reaction coming out of Alliance. That was a 3-on-2 once Annie had got down there, but they didn't really have too many problems. Nyph using that Zenith Blade to even move further away by the time he got stunned up.
Yeah, that's left Forgiven in mid.
Yeah, that's left Forgiven completely alone now, and this is dangerous. Froggen and Shook coming in. That's a brilliant flash from Forgiven, though.
Yeah, that's going to save his life, but Flash is now down. So if Forgiven and Unlimited keep up this pressure, this pushing lane in the middle, it's going to allow Shook to come from behind once again to try to set something up. Keep in mind, it was a flash for a flash. Shook doesn't have that either.
Yeah, that's certainly true. Froggen still has his flash, though, should he be called into needing that one. We can see that cowTard's back off into the jungle here to help off with Amazing, because that wave has now pushed back out, and Alliance are back to freezing that lane as close to their own turret as they possibly can, which means they're very slim, if any, pickings, really, for cowTard.
Yeah, we'll have to see how, where First Blood comes from. I think it's probably going to be more likely for Alliance to pick it up because of the combo they have with Vi. If you throw Vi plus anybody, even with Trundle, LeBlanc, Jinx, there's a lot of CC and damage that can follow it up. But, the main thing is, Shook has to get to 6 quickly. You've seen how low that tower HP was for Alliance in the mid lane. Copenhagen Wolves may get that down and push elsewhere. As it stands right now, you see that Wickd keeping even on CS with YoungBuck. Remember how much of a lane bully Renekton is at these low levels. It's working in his favor. And Copenhagen Wolves, they're going to get this tower very early on.
Yeah, not much that Froggen can do about this one. Amazing coming across the side there, and that will be the first tower of the game. Going down to the Wolves as they're going to go on towards cowTard. He slow flashes away from the Chompers, and if he got locked up with those, that could have been the end for him.
Yeah, flash down now for cowTard. Shook is going to have the ability to get in there and maybe push down for a kill. But as it stands, Forgiven and Unlimited, they're actually sticking in the mid lane. I'm expecting them to rotate around, go back to the bottom, defend against Tabzz and Nyph, and put cowTard in the mid lane to try and fend off against against Froggen. Without Froggen having a tower there, it could work out in cowTard's favor.
Well, we'll see about that one. Currently, Wickd is looking like he wants to head back home, and YoungBuck says, no, I'm just going to keep you in this lane. I know you want to leave right now, but you're going to have to stay for a while. Both of them have hit level 6 at this point, so ultimate's in there. Don't expect a flat-out 1 versus 1 kill to happen in that top lane without either Shook or Amazing getting involved. And as we predicted there, if you look at Froggen and cowTard CS totals now, they've completely leaped up.
Yeah, big difference now that they've had a little bit more time to breathe, as it were. Don't have 80 carries in their faces. We did see Wickd teleporting to the top lane. He doesn't want to lose experience. He doesn't want to lose levels and gold on that map. Picked himself up a Bilgewater Cutlass, so this is actually a bit of an aggressive build, and I think it's to counter this power spike at level 6 that Renekton's going to get. Try to duel him a little bit more, get some more lifesteal with the help of his passive, and as long as there's minions around, I think he's going to have a lot of good sustain to stick around with.
This bottom lane cowTard did stay there, actually has a lead in CS over Froggen at this very moment. If we look at the AD carries, 64 to 63, they're both doing a fantastic job. Not that we've really come to expect anything else from Tabzz and Forgiven up until now, but finally we see Alliance's bottom lane backing away as that wave was pushed through onto Gragas' tower.
No, I'm not entirely sure I like what Copenhagen Wolves with their AD carry and support still in the mid lane. I feel like the fact they got the tower down and they could have placed some additional vision in Alliance's jungle may have actually opened the Wolves up to, grabbing themselves a dragon if they had got some vision control. And instead, I think they're playing this one a little bit safe. They're going to try to keep Froggen shut down, try to keep LeBlanc on the back foot. Maybe this is a call from cowTard saying, I'm not comfortable fighting LeBlanc, I'm not comfortable in this matchup, so let's keep swapping, let's keep it in the 1v2, because the Wolves are once again responding with a swap of their own.
Yeah, we can see that Froggen there just going back into the brush just to figure out exactly what was going to be coming his way. They do have a few wards down by the dragon at this point, so they know that the duo lane of the Wolves hadn't started that one off. In fact, Shook is even moving his way down towards the bottom. And now that Shook is level 6, actually they've probably got the damage if they can lock Forgiven down.
Yeah, I think if they jump onto Forgiven or even Unlimited before he can get that Molten Shield up, before the bonus armor is in effect, they could get a kill. Shook is charging up his Vault Breaker, but he's walked over a ward, so Copenhagen Wolves were aware of it and they immediately started backing off. But look at the reaction from Tabzz and Nyph. There's a call from Alliance saying, we think something's up, come help us out. They've got the numbers advantage here.
They just put that pink ward down on Dragon, which has now been spotted. They saw that there was a ward in the back of the pit there, but they're going to have to clear that out before Alliance can get in and clear out the ward of their own. There's another one in that brush that no one really ever checks. They will quite happily walk around that all day, as Amazing did actually just do there. Not checking that one out. He wants to get back to the middle to make sure that their tower doesn't take too much damage from Jinx, who at this point, even now, does ridiculous tower damage.
Yeah, with that BF sword built up, and even though there's damage reduction on that tower, it's not going to take her a long time to kill it. This tower, however, in the bottom lane does not have that bonus armor, doesn't have the damage reduction, and this is a lot of damage from Forgiven. He's not using that passive of his just yet for the tower damage, clearing out the wave. Look from the background. Solar Flare is available from Nyph. I think he's going to throw this one down. Forgiven and Limited in trouble.
Going in towards Forgiven. Actually, the Zeddy play does land. Forgiven's already flashed. That's a Timbers down now. Froggen goes super low, but Froggen picks up the first blood while farming minions there at the back. Amazing play.
Very, very well coordinated from Alliance, comboing all of their damage together. You have to give props to Unlimited. He almost interrupted that kill, managing to lock up Froggen. Froggen managed to get away thanks to that Mimic Decoy secondary cast. And as it stands, first blood secured, and it went to the target that the Copenhagen Wolves have been trying to shut down. This has just backfired horribly for the Wolves because their early game strategy is now no longer as relevant.
cowTard, though, he's starting to make his way down towards bottom. He stopped halfway. I think just see the reaction of Tabzz and Nyph to see if they're going to go in. There's a flash. Unlimited going in. Tabzz going to be the focus of this one. He's taking so much damage. He's going to fall, and Nyph not safe. He flashes away from the barrel, though, and that will get him back to the tower without losing too much health.
Yeah, that flash forward actually pushed him to safety thanks to the aid of cowTard's explosive cast. What it does mean for Copenhagen Wolves, with a kill on Olaf, as well as a numbers advantage near the pit, they may actually be going for Dragon. You can see YoungBuck has already responded. There is no teleport available here for Alliance, so this should be Dragon for Copenhagen Wolves, plus the kill. Very good play.
Doesn't even look like Alliance will even bother to come near this one. They know that they're out of position, that they're not going to get that one. They're going to try getting Wickd up there onto that top turret as YoungBuck going to be finally bullied back here by Froggen as he tries to work his way back towards top. That tower didn't go down, though.
So there's one thing I want to highlight about that Dragon being taken. During last week's 4 games, Alliance secured 3 Dragons out of 13 in their three of their losses. The only game where they had more Dragons was against Fnatic, and Copenhagen Wolves had complete Dragon control the last time these two teams played. Alliance cannot afford to keep giving them those big chunks of gold. So I think next time this Dragon spawns, Alliance need to make sure they have the vision and the teleport from Wickd to actually challenge for it. Otherwise, Copenhagen Wolves can just extend this gold lead further.
Let's have a look down some of the items, and in this top lane, we talked about the Cutlass earlier on, and there's a giant spell in as Wickd actually going chomping in there on towards YoungBuck, who actually has started to struggle in terms of, if he can trade with Wickd at this point. Wickd actually running pretty low on mana at this point. You can see that YoungBuck, he's not scared of going down. He knows that he's going to lose health here and there, but he's not scared of dying.
Yeah, YoungBuck's also got Dominus available for that big burst of HP. Wickd has already used Subjugate, and I think they're actually going to go for this kill. Amazing's landed the Undertow.
Yeah, trying to bait him into this one. Wickd already flashing away. There's the Undertow coming in once again. Another one will slow him right down, and Amazing slams down the reckless swing for another kill.
Yeah, they made that look so easy. They just combined all of the slows and the damage together. And of course, with Ignite being there on YoungBuck's side, the combat summon is obviously going to favor him. YoungBuck is actually a little more interested in farming, and this may get them in trouble. Assault and Battery hasn't been used. Shook's going in.
Yeah, I'm going to use that Assault and Battery in the end. Froggen actually missing the chains there. Shook taking a big amount of damage back. Froggen has already gone back as well, but are they going to turn this one into Amazing? He's sat 2 for 0 right now, but look at that. He turns it around. Dangerous when he goes low. TP's coming into the top lane from Wickd right now. Shook is still alive. Amazing will finally go down. Froggen gets that kill.
Shook makes very good bait as it stands. Froggen continues to chase him down. He did have that blue buff available on him, so it was allowing him to get a couple more spells out and just keep ringing off the chains and the silencers down onto Amazing. So a nice turnaround, 2 kills for Froggen. Even though he's 20 CS down, he's doing very well with the positional play on the map to respond to Copenhagen Wolves' presence. And I think if YoungBuck hadn't been pushing the wave behind the tower, that could have gone very differently. This tower should fall in favor of Wickd.
Yeah, and look, he doesn't really care that YoungBuck is actually there. Bites down once more, which would hurt my teeth if I did that to a normal tower, but he's a troll. Doesn't actually care about that kind of thing. Meanwhile, bottom lane, we see once again that cowTard has actually started to move down. He's going to reveal himself simply because they want the turret here.
Yeah, I think this is smart play as well. This will give them the tower advantage and will almost free up this duo lane. However, with Froggen coming in, they may try to pick a fight here. cowTard's got his cask, but unfortunately Zenith didn't catch anybody, so no commitment from Alliance.
No, that was a good call actually for him to just not back away from that one, but the time the turret would have gone down may have been just a little bit too late. cowTard, however, trying to call Froggen's bluff from this one, walks halfway up river and then says, nope, going back.
So 2 things. The tower still stood from that previous siege. Shook will have his ultimate available by time he gets to the lane. Froggen's trying to wait out the Wolves, and wisely I think the Wolves back away. But if you look at the Ring of Vision down on the bottom half of the map, Alliance actually have superior ward placements all over than what the Copenhagen Wolves do. And it's what they did yesterday against Millennium as well. I was very impressed by how many wards Alliance had down at many stages of the game. And I think that's going to be key to challenging this next dragon, because it's only a couple of minutes away.
I just want to touch on the support items at this point as well. We can see that actually second item for Unlimited, he went and picked up that gold per 10, whereas none over with Nyph. Different style there of where they want to go.
Yeah, and I think the Dragon Gold is also helping out Unlimited. Going to have that extra little injection on his side of the case, and that's allowing him. Now Froggen's jumped onto cowTard. We'll see how much burst he's got. Doesn't actually commit to the rest of the fights.
Now Froggen playing this one, I think cautiously is the right word to use on this one. You know, not going far too deep where he gets caught out, but also making sure that he does the damage where he knows he safely can do that. Meanwhile, the AD carries, they are still bang level in terms of farm. Only really the assist that separates them at this point, and that is, of course, with Tabzz from that kill a little bit earlier on. He also has BF Sword and a Vamp Scepter. Meanwhile, in middle, Shook charging up, actually going to go in now for cowTard as the ultimate is used. I mean, can cowTard get away from this one? He has a flash, but it's not used. Froggen picks up the kill. He's now on a killing spree.
cowTard thought he was going to knock them away with the cask, and Froggen just sheepishly steps backwards, avoids the ultimate at Gragas, and gets away with that kill. That was just great combination there from both Froggen and Shook, really landing the abilities they needed to getting a kill. What it also means is now cowTard's going to have to respawn and try to rush down for Dragon.
Yeah, and Shook is also headed down on towards that side, and more on a bit of a farm path at this point, but that turret is so very low, and I'm wondering if the Wolves are going to dare actually step out from this one. They've got no ward in the Tribush as far as I can see, so it's definitely a dangerous thing to do, but with Amazing coming in, that'll compensate for that lack of vision.
Yeah, Nyph right now, if he wants to defend this tower, he's going to go in, and he does!
Oh, he gets taken really deep when he puts down his ulti. Meanwhile, Tabzz taking all the focus at the back, and Amazing just walking straight in there, misses misses the undertow, but one more auto attack will do it for him. The turret goes down. Nyph ran back towards the turret to try and get safe, but it had just fallen. In the end, though, the Wolves scared of a rebuttal and back away towards the Dragon.
What this does mean, because Dragon's up in 5 seconds, there's no solar flare from Leona. That is a very important ability. YoungBuck is in the area to fight, as is Wickd. So this is going to be a 5v4. Watch Forgiven's HP. If Froggen jumps over, he's going to try jump on Forgiven, and he's gone in.
Oh, they've got in there, but the Dragon's secured here by the Copenhagen Wolves, and now Shook going all kinds of low. cowTard going to pick that one up, and that's a double victory for the Wolves. They get a kill in bottom, they get a kill by Dragon and the Dragon itself.
Yeah, Froggen tried to use his ultimate just to try and maybe deal additional damage to the Drake, but it didn't work out, and Wickd was in the mid lane. So even though Alliance wanted to challenge, and they were roughly in the right area, they were not grouped up tightly enough. They went in from different angles, and it backfired. It didn't work out for them at all. Now, because the second Dragon's gone plus the tower, Copenhagen Wolves have a 3,000 gold lead, and it's starting to snowball. It's starting to accelerate. Alliance cannot afford to give up more objectives.
Yeah, and if you look where all their kills are, they're all in Froggen right now. He's so important to the outcome of this game. Got himself a DFG because of those 3 kills, basically. He's got to make it work and probably feed some kills elsewhere rather than gathering them all up himself.
On the same token, the kills for Copenhagen Wolves are sitting with Olaf. Now, it's a little, you know, it's got pros and cons because Olaf is not going to be worried about the CC that's coming out of Alliance. So as long as, you know, Amazing has a good interaction with Alliance, it'll work well. Wickd right now is about to be dove by 3 members of the Copenhagen Wolves. They've gone in. 3
men coming in. It's YoungBuck that's tanking up the turret. He's got plenty of HP as a stun comes down. Wickd is pretty tanky himself and has actually managed to back away from that. That is how you survive a 3-man gank. Meanwhile, down at the bottom, they did take the turret. cowTard safe from it, though.
Yeah, 2 reasons that he managed to survive. First of all, the big HP injection that he gets from Subjugate. 24% of a target's maximum HP. He gets half of it immediately, and the other half he drains over the course of a couple of seconds. On top of that, Blade of the Ruined King active. So yes, they dealt a lot of damage, but Wickd just immediately stole armor, magic resist, and a massive amount of HP. And that's part of the reason Trundle is so effective in this meta.
And I can see that he does have that Warden's Mail now added in onto his Blade of the Ruined King. On the other side, Sunfire Cape and another giant spell for for YoungBuck. There's YoungBuck there in the mid lane. I was just talking about how tanky his items were, and he's instantly dropped down to less than half.
Yeah, he needs to get some more magic resist. He's got a lot of, you know, effective HP and some armor, but not enough MR to deal with the burst that Froggen's putting out. So we'll see how quickly he can transition into a little bit more magic resist. And I think it's smart decision-making from YoungBuck when you consider the rest of the team is predominantly physical damage. You know, Trundle, Vi, and Jinx are going to be bashing away and just smacking you in the head. As it stands, Teleport's still available. Wicked's used it once to get back to lane. He didn't use it for the previous Dragon challenge. And I thought Alliance were going to go for this mid lane tower, but instead I think they're going to challenge for blue, try get some vision. They've got some very good deep wards. Blue buff is still on. cowTard and Amazing are in trouble. Here comes Shook.
Oh, he's used the smite early to try and give it over there as we see Tabzz throw his ultimate over. Amazing has to pop his own. The blue buff actually went to Froggen there. That is all around a great pickup from Alliance, and they're going to try and come around the back. They know someone's there because of the ward coming down. Don't think they'll be able to catch YoungBuck, though.
Oh, Froggen does. Oh, went in. I think he was about to channel that chain, didn't manage to connect it. So cowTard gets melted. Blue buff is stolen away, once again thanks to the vision that Alliance is playing with. Every time they have challenged for a buff or for Dragon or similar, it's because they've had superior ward coverage. And while all that was going on, Wickd is just shoving down the top lane, using that frozen domain, that AoE thing on the floor, to run out nice and quickly.
Yeah, and then run straight back off, playing his role really well at this point. And he's going to go back home to shop or not, because he's just seen, okay, there's a few more creeps coming out. I can take all of them with me. And I have that bit more extra gold to spend. Just to touch back on towards the support items, by the way, we did finally see Nyph. He's now got the Nomads. Medallion. There we go. Get that one out. And the Talisman already finished up here.
cowTard might be popped.
This is dangerous for him. That DFG on Froggen is going to come into play, but what is Froggen waiting for right now? Waiting for his time to strike, and in the end decides, nope, not going to go for it.
Well, I thought cowTard was going down the... I think Froggen playing a little bit cautiously. He's not sure where everybody else is on the map, so maybe the right thing to do. And as you were talking about, the fact that Unlimited has got the coin already completed and he's going to have that movement speed buff, it's going to help avoid the solar flares from Leona. but Copenhagen Wolves need to group for that to be effective. And I don't know if they're ever going to be allowed to, because from the looks of things, Wickd is playing a split push game with Trundle. Trundle's very good in duels, 1v1s, etc., but he's not the fastest split pusher. Instead, Copenhagen Wolves now, they're actually applying the focus on this mid-inner turret.
And those barrels going to offer them so much in terms of zoning control on these turrets as well. We can see there the minions strip straight down. Wickd actually going to be recalling by the Wolves, an area of the map where he baited Froggen into death yesterday. They'll want to avoid that if all possible. So look at the goal. 3,000 almost is the lead for the Copenhagen Wolves, and another tower would tip that even further to a point where Alliance will be struggling.
Yeah, because Wicked's not at the tower right now, Alliance are too scared to move forward. They can't take the poke from Gragas, and they have to all in. In order for Alliance to defend this, they've got to pick the fight, and that's the power of the coin. They don't get caught up by the chain. However, with the Pillar of Ice plus Solar Flare, that could be the way for Alliance to get in for the fight. Keep your eyes on Nyph. I think he may be keen to fight if Copenhagen Wolves continue the siege.
See if he dives over, just tucking himself around the corner right now, but who would its target be? Shook actually charging up for this one. He's going to go in. They're going on towards Gragas. cowTard down very low and finished off there by Shook. But YoungBuck is in the front line there. Does a lot of damage before himself falling low right now. A 2-for-1 for the Copenhagen Wolves, and they're going to try and back away from this one. And not only try, they succeed. They win that fight.
Yeah, very well played by Copenhagen Wolves to stay completely compressed and tied together. The dive buddies of Shook and Nyph, yes, they got a kill onto cowTard. However, the explosive cast was thrown down. It knocked away a couple members of Alliance and prevented them focusing single targets. And just because the Wolves had more members closely knit together, they could, pick 2 kills up and back away. Froggen's going to carry on hunting, but that was a great undertow. That's going to prevent him chasing. However, if Unlimited goes too far, I think he's going to get popped. DFG is available.
Yeah, max range there actually, the undertow coming out, and we can see that the Wolves have now a 4-man team over by the Dragon. Trumper's just going down there from Tabzz, and the Dragon is collected easily by the Copenhagen Wolves. Another big pickup for them. 4,000 gold is the difference.
That's the 3rd Dragon in a row now that the Copenhagen Wolves have strung together. They have an additional tower, and you've seen from that previous engagement, because of the poke that cowTard offers with his Gragas, and the damage that you can get down from Forgiven's Lucian, Copenhagen Wolves have a slightly superior sieging team. LeBlanc doesn't offer much to defend a siege. Leona offers nothing to defend a siege unless you go in for a fight. And the only wave clear that Alliance have right now is relying on the splash damage from Tabzz' rocket. So the next time those tower fights happen, Copenhagen Wolves are going to do exactly the same. Rinse and repeat, wait for them to engage, back off with a coin, and then pick a fight. It's something that Alliance cannot really afford to do. They have to go on the aggressive.
Blue buff just coming up here for Alliance as well. That'll go over to Froggen, who's now got the blasting wand on top of his DFG from earlier on. Rabadon's Death Cap, though, is already complete for cowTard with that Athene's and Holy Grail as well. As Wickd here coming out from middle, just gets a blast of warning from Forgiven.
Yeah, he's already got himself that Bloodthirster as well as the Last Whisper. Going to work towards that Trinity Force, and he's already doing a lot of damage. That means the culling is going to hit particularly hard. Amazing's looking for a fight, and you see Unlimited, he popped the coin already, so the cooldown's not available. There's a small window of opportunity here for Alliance if they can catch somebody a little bit out of position. But with Wickd going to split push bottom, I'm not anticipating Alliance to fight. I think Alliance are banking on the presence of Wickd to pull people towards him.
Yeah, and Wickd does have that teleport available, so if things do go pear-shaped for him, he can move away from that lane and to wherever Alliance should need him. There is Unlimited actually clearing out the wards in that mid lane, and cowTard will be getting the blue buff, similar to what we saw Froggen being able to achieve earlier on. Forgiven also getting the red buff, almost mirrored on the other side here for Alliance, with Tabzz doing the same.
So I want to touch on the way Alliance is playing this game, because Wickd is playing split push on Trundle, who's not the strongest split push champion. He doesn't necessarily have very good wave clear. Yes, he's got a lot of attack speed, and with Blade of the Ruined King, it's working in his favor. But if YoungBuck were to try to do similar, he should be able to push the waves quicker and try to control that out. The problem is YoungBuck can't 1v1 Wickd. And Copenhagen Wolves are saying, well, we know we can't beat him in a fight, so we're not going to. Wolves are staying grouped together in this mid lane. They're going to catch Shook, and they've gone in.
Gone in for this one, and there is the Super Mega Death Rocky coming in. Shook going to go in with the Assault and Battery as well, and that's the first kill of this one. Taken quickly back, that was amazing. Will pick up a kill of his own. Where are they going to go next? They're focusing on Amazing, but Froggen being burst heavily down on this one. Wickd in the middle of it as well, as Tabzz now on a killing spree. He's pretty much untouched this entire fight. YoungBuck tanky enough to get back, or is he? He's going to get stunned up by Froggen, and Froggen picks picks up the kill to go on the rampage.
Great play by Alliance there, responding to the engage from Copenhagen Wolves. The Wolves didn't have YoungBuck and Amazing on the front line. It was Unlimited that took all of that burst and it forced the Wolves backward. Now Alliance managed to secure the 3rd tower of the game as well as a bunch of kills. Take a look at this. YoungBuck is nowhere near. This is a 4v4 and the Wolves just get melted. They didn't get any damage or any real crowd control down onto the side of Alliance. And as soon as Tabzz gets excited with that Jinx passive, he carries on running in. By the time YoungBuck's arrived, Wickd's already teleported in, and this fight just extends itself further in favor of Alliance. They had a better group, they responded to the engage well, and Unlimited maybe a little ambitious with that flash Tabzz. It didn't catch Shook the way they wanted to.
And YoungBuck, I thought he was going to be strong enough there to actually get back behind the turret, but once the chains land, you've got the chompers coming in, you're not getting away, whoever you are, from the amount of damage that the Alliance can put down. And we can see that now, gold coming right back here to just a 2,000 difference, just less than even.
And what that does show you is when the Copenhagen Wolves can avoid the CC, they can win the fights. If you think back to the last inner turret battle, Wolves got away. However, when Alliance chain together their solar flares, their chains, the Pillar of Ice, Copenhagen Wolves can't really win those big 5v5 engagements. And in those last kills and pickups that have been secured, Nyph now has the coin on his side of the itemization, but Unlimited does have a Mikhail's Crucible. So he's going to at least be able to remove one of those hard CCs from a teammate. Most likely going to be forgiven. Froggen doesn't connect with the chain.
He only needs another 3 Mikhails and then he can get rid of pretty much everything that they can throw at them right now. Alliance and Wickd, not worried at this point. With that Randuin's in there, he's got himself a Negatron cloak as well. We saw how menacing he can be in that last fight to really get things started. And they've got such great chase ability here. Have Alliance as well. Great mobility, and you've got to wonder now for the Copenhagen Wolves after losing that fight, that's going to dent their confidence quite a lot. Shook comes in, nice little smite to get his big wraith.
And even more so, of the 7 kills the Wolves have, 5 of them are with their junglers. This is the fight that Alliance want. Copenhagen re-engaged.
Yeah, they're going actually on towards YoungBuck. That's the tank, and he goes down without really any reply. The barrel from cowTard came down. Shook having to walk away. This could actually be a really, really bad fight for the Copenhagen Wolves. Wickd, though, surely will get finished off, but Nyph landing the Zenith Blade goes right in the middle of them. And look at Tabzz. He's chasing down, gets himself a double. That will be a triple coming in for Tabzz. He's not chasing onto Unlimited, but they've done the work. 4-for-1 fight again for Alternate.
Copenhagen Wolves should not have re-engaged. The fact that all of the kills are sitting with Amazing and not with the carries. cowTard and Forgiven don't have that gold. Whereas for Alliance going into that fight, of the 8 kills they had, it was Forgiven and Froggen and Tabzz that had all of it. Now with the numbers advantage, Tabzz is trying to be very cheeky and solo Baron. He doesn't have the armor or the HP pool for this to work out. With the help of Froggen and Shook when he gets here, maybe they can. Unlimited may want to fiddle though, and they're taking so much damage, this is a little risky.
Yeah, very risky. Unlimited sat off to the backside. The Baron is at less than half HP as the scan does go down. They know that they're spotted doing this one, but they feel that they might be able to do it. YoungBuck coming in from the side as well. Baron very low, finished off. Nice pick up by Alliance.
Yeah, Unlimited had no flash to go over the wall. He was trying to reroute himself to get in through the Baron pit, but now this is a very big swing in favor of Alliance. They have the kill lead, they have a nice gold lead, 2,000, plus the statistics that Baron's going to give you. And that was a poor call from Copenhagen Wolves. I think they overestimated their ability to find a pick. Yes, there is a lot of burst from Gragas, and yes, it can combo with the culling, but it simply wasn't going to be enough for them to burst down either Shook or Wickd in that situation, and it cost them. Alliance re-engaged well, used that Talisman of Ascension, and got a bunch of kills.
And if we look at the gold, it has now gone over to Alliance. That swing finally working back in their favor. We can see the items they've got from that Tabzz after his triple kill earlier on. Infinity Edge, Bloodthirst, a Last Whisper, and a Zeal at this point. He's basically a full item ahead at this stage of Forgiven.
Yeah, and got a big CS lead. He handled the pressure well. Luckily for Tabzz, he had a lot of free farming time early on because he was facing off against Gragas. But he's played it well. And, going back to our preamble, Tabzz last week had a 2 KDA over 4 games. Yesterday's game he had 7. Right now he's on 5. So, 6 average over these 2 games. It's much better. He's in the right place at the right time. He's not flashing into terrible situations. And very importantly, Amazing and YoungBuck haven't got to him. Part of the reason Tabzz is doing so well is because Wickd and Shook have run great interference. The tanks of the Wolves haven't made it to the back line of Alliance.
Yeah, amazing who did get all those kills as well. 5 of them stacking on him. There's just 1 for the mid laner and the AD carry. Support also getting 1 in there. And we can see that Alliance now starting to push out into the enemy jungle, make sure that they've got full vision control of that, and great timing as well, because this bottom wave is now pushed up. They're going to make a play for this inner turret.
And this is what Alliance's comp is going to be very good at. If they decide to tower dive with Trundle and with Trundle and Vi, they're going to be able to pick a target up well, disperse them with that Pillar of Ice, and tank up a lot of hits to allow the assassin and the execution of Jinx and LeBlanc to work in their favor. That's exactly what we're talking about. You keep them away from the position. Alliance on the aggressive foot, their composition's very, very good.
Half the health of the turret gone down from that little push. As you said, the pillar coming straight through the backside there. Wickd taking a barrel, but not doing too much damage to him now. That Spirit Visage is going to be done. We see Nyph putting a pink ward in to regain complete vision control just around the corner here by the Wolves. And Alliance just looking for their way in, going to take each wave as it comes and do some damage as they go.
Yeah, if a squishy target's too far forward like that, Forgiven was able to dash away, but the next time he gets caught or slowed, Alliance are going to all in. They've got the Talisman of Ascension, they've got Solar Flare, and they've got Assault and Battery. So, you know, Tabzz playing it smart, getting as much poke down as he can. His crit's already hitting for like 1100 damage, I think I just seen. It's a lot of damage that the Wolves have very little response to.
Wickd just edging forward. They've done enough here. They've managed to get in, get the tower low enough that the Wolves have decided they can't defend it anymore. They can't fight under that one because it is so low. Alliance decide to back off. Let's not forget they have the Baron on them right now. The Wolves' top lane is actually pushed up, though, all the way to Alliance's inner turret.
And that's the reason they need to back off. You know, Alliance need to make sure they've got the map playing in their favor if they want to play this extended siege. And the moment the Wolves show a moment of weakness at the tower, for example, Alliance can roll around to a different lane and, you know, try focus that last inner turret down. And the fact that Wickd now has his teleport back available, it's going to allow them to play this split push game even better. Keep in mind there's 3 sweepers for Alliance as well, so they're doing a fairly good job of controlling vision, but I don't think they've got anywhere near enough wards down across the map or in the Copenhagen Wolves territory.
And look at Wickd, he's 100 CS almost above that of YoungBuck right now. Just shows how much time he spent off on these lanes on his own. His teleport is off cooldown as well, and it's a 2,000 gold, give or take. It's the lead that he's got from that extra farm in there. Not got any kills yet, but the 6 assists, 2 deaths. We've seen him just get right in the mix of these fights and cause all kinds of disruption.
Yeah, and look at the fact that he's pushed this wave out. The rest of Alliance have responded in kind, even though Tabzz is going to be a little bit late to this one right now. It looks like Alliance are going to start sieging up this top inner turret. Copenhagen Wolves have defended, but in order for the Wolves to win a team fight, cowTard needs to get a pixel-perfect explosive cask, separating the tanks from the carries, and popping a carry, ideally. But I don't think Froggen and Tabzz are going to be in a position for that to work.
This is a complete positional outplay by Alliance as well. They forced the Wolves to go towards top the whole time. Tabzz was pushing through middle, and now they're right on towards that inhibitor turret. There comes the barrel. It's going to fling Wickd into them. Shook is in there as well. But it's Nyph and Froggen being engaged upon at the back. Amazing charging through. He's going to get locked up somewhat, but he's now going to face the constant force. He's actually going in for the clone here, and by the time he goes down, he's not going to be able to pick up Froggen. Are Alliance going to turn and keep going for this one? No, they get the 1-for-1, but it was the tower that they really were looking for, and that was a great play to get it.
Yeah, trading jungler for jungler. Froggen was forced out of the fight, and Amazing was doing the best he could to zone Tabzz away. But the reason this went well for Wolves is look at this double stun that comes out of Unlimited now. He flashes forward, locks up both Nyph and Froggen. And because YoungBuck and Amazing basically made a beeline there for Tabzz, it forced the Wolves to back away. Another thing that was good from Alliance is Forgiven was kept busy by Shook in the background. So it didn't work in their favor. It does look like, you know, Alliance, Wickd at the very least, is sieging up in the mid lane. But well played, I think, by the Wolves to respond and prevent their inhibitor going down in that fight. It may not be over. It may not be alive for too much longer.
We just saw the axe being thrown out there at the last second in that replay as well. Just skimming past Froggen, that would have taken him down as Amazing comes charging out here with the home guards on, but those chompers going to stop him when he doesn't have Ragnarok available, which he does actually pop for this one. They're going in towards Wickd, who not sure he's going to be able to escape from this one. YoungBuck getting into the front. There is the health regen though, out of his ultimate. The barrel not going to be enough to finish him off. And Nyph dives in. That is a massive explosion in the middle of the team, and here comes Tabzz to clean up the fight. Picks himself up a couple. Oh, Forgiven missed there by the Zap, but they don't don't really care. Oh, Super Mega Death Rocket came through as well. Forgiven was already out, but he has to recall here because they're going to go for the inhibitor. The bottom inner turret is being hammered on by Wickd as well.
Wicked's lifesteal was immense there. 29% of the target's HP, half of it instantly. You've seen his HP went up by 200 or 300. The rest of Alliance right now, they're sticking to the Nexus turrets, and Alliance are going to have enough time to finish the game.
Forgiven going to be pushed back onto this one. Both Nexus turrets already down, and Alliance are going to pick up their second victory in a row here in the European LCS. A very solid performance, and you can see exactly what it means to them as well.